What is up, my Shadowverse soldiers, and welcome back to another Shadowverse Evolved video. Alright, welcome back to another Market Watch Wednesday. We're going to be looking at what prices are for set 4 and how they settled and how they're moving, however they're changing. But before we get into that, let's go ahead and start talking about set 5. So set 5 is soonly approaching, it's slowly coming. And if you don't already have your pre-orders for it, I'd say go ahead and pick it up. It's going to be a good set for a lot of classes. I'm ready to go ahead and get into the spoilers in a couple of weeks when we talk about it. But I'm very excited for set 5 to be here. And then when set 5 gets here, then we'll have Glory Finder. So a lot of Shadowverse stuff is happening. So let's go ahead and figure out what's going on with these prices in set 4 and how they're doing. So if you were waiting on Israfil to slowly drop in price, then you're finally getting to that time and period where she's slowly going down. So last time we checked, she was at $25, so she's 23. The other listings have her at like 24, 25. You know, that's kind of still around where she's at, but she's slowly going to drop off because we're going to go into set 5, which I'm very excited to talk about in the future. So let's go ahead and see how much her Evo is going for. Yeah, not much change on the Evo here. She's still sitting at around $11, market price 12. Nothing too big of a difference since the last time we've looked at it. Let's see if there are any other cards that have a huge price jump. Alright, so the first card we're going to be looking at is Dark Angel Livia, and the last time we looked at this card, she was sitting at around $32, like around the $30 range, and now she's $25, so getting a full playset for under $80 is actually pretty interesting, because I remember for a while, just a while Alice was doing her thing, this card would be sitting at, you know, you need 390, you need 390, and then that was really when, you know, just set 3 was really settling in, so it's good to see that Olivia's finally dropping a price. So if you need your Olivias, let's say, you know, if you need to pick up 2, that's a really good amount to pick up for Olivia. That's a good send off and spend for Olivia. So looking at the other prices, you know, she's sitting at 25, 26. So it's good to see that she's finally down in price. Let's look at some other cards. Alright, so we did look at Princess Snow White last time, and she was actually in the double digits, so it's actually nice to see that she's sitting at the $8 range. I think this is a fair price to pay for a Princess Snow White, especially if you're going to be running Havencraft, and, you know, I'm not going to say Havencraft isn't too strong, but it's one of the stronger control decks, if you know what I'm saying. So Princess Snow White is definitely a staple that you want to have in your decks. She's $8.25. You know, last time we looked at her, market price was like $14, so that's a huge jump down. So I'd say right now, Princess Snow White is a pretty good steal. Alright, so we're always going to jump back to Agnes. We're probably not going to look at Evos too much because we already know they're going to be on the cheaper side of things. But Agnes is sitting at $35. Last time we checked, she was $40. So there's definitely a $5 drop off. It's good to see that cards are slowly going down in this little weird era of Shadowverse where we're just going through regionals and whatnot. So it's glad to see that cards like this are slowly going down in price. So let's see what some other cards are doing. Alright, next we have Mrozinski. That's actually a little bit up on price since the last time we looked at her. So she's selling for $17.40 right now. Last time we saw her at around $16.15. Looking at the other listings, yeah, she's just starting at 17 and going into 18. But I think the only cards that you're going to really be spending money on for the Abyss Control deck is the Mrozinskis and the Israfils. And you know, here at Sparta's Evo, we love to do a lot of budget gaming. You do not need fancy pricey cards to do well in this card game. So, you know, the lowest rarity is what I go for. That's the prettiest in my mind. So, you know, save a buck, you know, save some time, save your thought process. You know, the beautiful cards, man oh man, they are good to pull, but good gracious, they feel like a hole in your pocket when you do get the other versions of these cards. Alright, and one card that I do want to come back and talk about that I feel like we don't talk about enough every other week is the Bell Ringer. So this card is just a staple. I don't feel like it needs a crazy explanation. This card is just good for what it does if you play the card game. If you don't, then, you know, this is definitely something you need to look into because this is one of the better cards of Shadowverse. So right now she's sitting at $13. Last time I think we looked at her, she was $15. It was quite some time ago, but looking at the other listings, it looks like she's just settling at 13. This card that came out in set 1, so I don't think she's gonna really go down a ridiculous like price like the $5 or anything, but I think 13's pretty fair to pay for Bell Ringers, especially since, you know, she's probably one of the competitive cards in the game. So, okay, so now we're going to look at the Bahamut BSF promo. So this only goes to the champion who won the event, and on their listing, this is what it is. So take that in what you will. Pretty pretty okay price in my opinion. I mean, there's only the one. There's only the one for the champion, and if you aren't the champion, you should probably pay champion's price for it, I guess. So, not really much to say besides this is the card and this is the promos. The other promos will probably go for like $20, you know, for a change or something like that. But we'll just have to see if this card either goes down or anyone buys it. I'm not sure. But this is, ladies and gentlemen, we are finally here where Alice from set 3 is now under $20. So for the longest time, and I've been hating myself for it, this card has been at 25 plus, and just 25 plus the entirety of the time that it's just been the cycle of my lifetime. Or at least this card's lifetime, which was a lot shorter, since now it's under $20. So if you ever wanted to get into Forest Craft, you know, Beauty and the Beast, or if you want to get into Egg Haven, now is the time. I believe right now is the perfect time because this card's sitting at $19. If you wanted to wait to see if it gets even cheaper, then, you know, go ahead and do that. But, you know, decks that have Andromeda, you know, get those upgrades for those certain decks. This card will only go up in price because it's probably just a staple card. So right now is the perfect time. So right now the listing's $19.75. Market price has it at $28. So I'd say right now it's just the biggest steal for Alice just in general. So if you don't already have your Alices, go ahead and pick them up. All right, and yeah, even the Alice in Wonderland Evo is below $10 as well. So getting Alice is pretty affordable now. So if you want to play any sort of Fable deck, right now is the perfect time to get into it. So go ahead and pick them up if you need them. If you already have them, you know, best of luck to you. You know, congratulations on being able to play Fable. But if you want to, now is the perfect time to get into it. All right, so I'm going to let you guys in right now. So this is how much trial initiation goes for foil. I believe this might, I feel like this might go up in price. I think the trial initiation and the Econodictus foils are going to go up in price. So this is how much trial initiation is. And this is how much Econodictus is foil as well. So, you know, we do love budget gaming here at Sparta's Evo, but we do also love shiny cardboard when we can get it for, you know, the lowest price possible. And before we sweep in and get into these cards, you know, with the power creep of Uma coming up, I believe this card's going to go up just at least a little bit, probably like maybe $5, maybe, if even that. But Uma's going to be back at full power, so people are going to be running 3 of these each. So the increase might make it to where that these cards might be a little more expensive, or just might be a little, you know, harder to get your hands on because everyone's going to need them foil and they're going to be rushing. But if you wait a little bit of time, then it'll probably settle into like a pretty decent price. All right, so we have Crystalia T here. She's sitting at around $11. Last time we saw, I think she was at 12, 13. So the rest of the listings have her at 11. You know, it's not too bad. Let's see how much Forest Elf is. All right, so Ancient Elf, not Forest Elf. I don't know why in the world I was thinking of it. I mean, it's a Forest Craft Elf. So she's under $10 right now. That's very good. So if you want to rock any of the Forest Craft decks in set 5 that are going to have like a bounce mechanic, this is definitely a staple card to have. So she's sitting at $9. Last time we saw her, she was like at 17. Market price has her at 10. So, you know, below $10 to get an Ancient Elf isn't too bad. But yeah, guys, outside of that, thank you so much for watching. I can't really see anything else that's like a huge change here besides cards being, you know, just a little bit below average than what they should be, like, you know, old Legendary sitting at $6 and stuff like that. But outside of that, thank you guys for watching. Alright guys, make sure you're safe in whatever you do tonight and safe whatever you do for the rest of the year. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.